to succeed.
You know, Andre, just a thought. One thing neither Dr. Fisher nor I have mentioned thus far, at least for the charter school here, thinking about the district's current economic situation, some people think about the cost. The current plan is for the charter school to educate the students at less than the current cost in $150 to educate a student. I think that also is a very significant point, because we're looking at educating the students and hopefully providing significantly higher value at less cost.
You know, a question that is frequently asked, and we all know that not only District 150, but almost all of the schools and school districts in the state of Illinois are really facing some huge financial challenges based on state funding. And we have a community that has really embraced this opportunity to look at some innovation in education. You probably have heard that Caterpillar came forward and said, you know, we're willing to put $500,000 on the table, but they challenged the community to come forward. And we're just thrilled that we're almost at $400,000. We've had some incredible support from the community, but what this means is for the first year, that takes the burden off of Peoria Public Schools in terms of their cost for the charter school. Now, we have negotiated a 5-year contract, and for the years 2 through 5, because we are one of their schools, a much lesser percent, but a percent of their state funding will then transfer over and follow the students as they attend the charter school.
Where are you anticipating that the school will be located when it opens up in August?
Current plans are for the school to open at Loucks, which is on University.
Okay.
Thomas Jefferson is currently in the school, as you know. They will leave and we will move into that school. We plan to open in August. The exact date, I'm not sure, is it?
We haven't established that
So
yet.
August of 2010.
And we're not sure if that's going to be our long-term home. That we know that the district's completing a facility study. But even when we get to capacity in 2015 of being a grades 5 through 12 with 600 students, Loucks is a facility that could accommodate that number of students.
It's my understanding also that there's flexibility in the hiring of the staff, that you're not just limited to teachers who were just prepared for teachers, but you could hire other professionals who've had some background and experience that can come in and share some of the academic knowledge and training that they've had along with the other teachers. Am I correct with that?
That is correct, Andre. 75% of the teachers must be certified according to the state requirement.
Okay.
That other 25% will allow the school to have a specialized education, if you will. An example would be this. Let's say a course in physics is being taught. You might have a physicist at the regional lab or even a Caterpillar. That physicist could come and teach the students in this school. That other 25% allows for that sort of support. Mathematicians could come into the school and help teach these students. So that 25% that is not, quote, certified enables the school to have a specialized support that we wouldn't otherwise be able to do.
You know, you've brought up a good point that the charter school does have some differences, and one of that is the flexibility in hiring staff. Another flexibility is from some of the rules and regulations that govern Illinois education. So you have some flexibility in terms of your curriculum. You know, for example, we're going to have a much longer school day, school year. We will be teaching double periods of math and language arts. Our requirements for graduation far exceed those of state requirements. So we've been given some flexibility to be innovative and to do things outside of the box. But the trade-off for that is we are held to very tight accountability in terms of meeting the student achievement goals that have been set, as well as the financial goals that we have in our application.
You know, Dr. Fisher mentioned longer school time. When you look at education, to some extent, it's how much time that student is exposed and how long that student is exposed. This school will have, in essence, 33% more time devoted to education for the students. And that will be accomplished through a longer day and a longer year. So the intent is really to do all that's required to continually take that individual lesson and continually move that student up.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. In fact, as you two also may recall, I know there's been some recent discussion about even reducing from a 5-day school to a 4-day school, which I personally don't feel is educationally sound at all in terms of the contact hours that we would have with our students. That if there's anything that, along with a lot of other factors, is contributing to America in general falling farther and farther behind globally to other countries, particularly the Western industrial countries, is that we probably have more time off with summer vacations, spring vacations, Christmas vacations, and all of those kinds of things. And we probably need to stay competitive as much time as we can with our students. But it's also a challenge that the time we do spend, we are engaging the students and they're not just sitting there,
Yep.
you know, just.
Right.
You know, Andre, it's interesting you mentioned the global situation. At one time, our students led the world,
Absolutely.
but currently, that is not the situation.
No.
In terms of science and math, we are behind many countries. I think we're 11th in terms of science and 9th in terms of math, looking at worldwide competition. So we have really lost quite a bit. And I think you make a good point about what's needed for our students, not just in terms of competing in the world, but also in terms of societal costs. Because along with lower education, we see penal institutions populations go up. So all of this is
Absolutely.
hand in hand.
Absolutely.
You know, one of the things that goes hand in hand with our accountability is we have really researched models and curriculums that get the kinds of results that Mr. Hooks is talking about in terms of preparing kids with high skills in math and science and technology, which we all know is needed. And we are actually purchasing a curriculum from a company called Concept Schools. So we'll be using their model, which they have had in existence in 17 schools. And as a matter of fact, we have had close to 100 people in our community, parents, some educators, business people who have gone up to Chicago to visit one of their schools, the Chicago Math, Science and Technology, which is one of the highest performing, or it is the highest performing Chicago school that's non-select. So we're really excited about having their model, but the Peoria twist to it. We've already hired a principal who has had experience in concept, math, science, and technology. He has, Mr. Blackstone has opened a new school. He has taken a school that had low scores to an exceeding school. So we feel our leader is going to add a lot to the success, as well as the high quality of applications for teachers. We know teachers are key. You know, to have motivated teachers who love kids, who are highly skilled. And we've made such a commitment to our teachers that it will be an environment where they will have a part of the decision making. They actually will have 3 weeks of training before school starts every year, because we know how important their skills are that relate in the classroom.
You know, the forums that Dr. Fisher mentioned earlier, the principal really is a speaker. I mean, the superintendent really is a speaker at those forums. It's a good opportunity to really get good exposure, ask questions, and get a sense of comfort with who will be heading up the charter school. So we really encourage parents and the community to come out to the forums and get a chance to have dialogue with them.
Well, I keep hearing this one word, and I know it's also key. You mentioned that the teachers are key, but so are the parents.
Yes.
To get them involved and to get them engaged in their young person, student's life. And I know that's part of what makes it successful, that it's not just a drop-off point. We've got to remind parents that they were the first teacher, but they don't graduate from being a teacher. In fact, you're a teacher all your life. Even when they get to be adults, a child still could handle support from a parent and guidance from a parent.
Dr. Fisher mentioned the Parents University.
Yes.
One of the things that I feel good about, when Mr. Blackstone has talked at the forums, he stresses the